Hi, welcome to today's lesson. And today we are going to look at lesson 25. So, lesson 25 talks about how to choose a spouse. And I believe this lesson is for those of us who are yet to get married or those of us who are yet to choose a life partner. And I believe the teachings in this lesson is going to help us to make the wise decision so that we won't regret in the next days or next years to come. So, if you are ready for relationship, if you are ready for marriage, this is the right time for us to study together and help us to choose the right partner for the right assignment that we are called to do. So our lesson is how to choose a spouse. How to choose a spouse. And our central truth says that following God's instruction in choosing a spouse bring peace. And the peace that is talking about here is, I believe, it is the peace of God. Because if you don't follow the instruction of God, you choose a marriage that will end up in chaos, misunderstanding, and confusion. So he says that following God's instruction, it is very important. The following of God's instruction is very important. And our memory verse is taken from Proverbs chapter 3, verse the number 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord. He says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. So we are looking at our lesson outline. And our lesson outline, first of all, we are looking at worldly approach to choosing a spouse. And the second one is godly approach of choosing a spouse. The third thing we are going to look at is results of choices. And under it, we have following worldly approach. Then the B part is embracing godly approach. Our lesson text is Judges chapter 14 verse 1 to 3. Then we look at chapter 16 verse 18 to 21. Then we are going to look at Genesis chapter 24 verse 36 to 40. Now this lesson is going to talk about, we are going to look at two people. We are going to look at the life of Samson and the life of Isaac. Samson and Isaac. Now for our reading, let's look at Judges chapter 14 from verse 1 to 3. Now we are going to look at worldly approach. Judges chapter 14 from verse 1 to 3. Samson went down to Timnah and saw there a young Philistine woman. When he returned, he said to his father and mother, I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife. His father and mother replied, isn't there an acceptable woman among your relatives or all our people? Must you go to the uncircumcised Philistine to get a wife? But Samson said to his father, get her for me. She's the right one for me. Get her for me. He insisted. This is the worldly approach. This is something that was so the decision was taken by Samson himself. Was he went out and he saw the lady. The Bible said a young beautiful lady. He saw the lady and he told the family, the parent, that they should get her for him, for this is his wife. So you can see Samson depend on his senses, his sight. So he said when he saw the nice lady, he told the parent. So we realized that there wasn't anything about prayer in his decision. There wasn't anything about godly counsel in his decision, seeking the face of God. No, when he saw it, he felt like this is the right person for me. And that was the wrong thing that he did. Samson was a man who had no social or spiritual boundary. He is just living his life. When he sees a woman, he thinks this is the woman for me. When he sees a lady, this is the lady for me. When he sees this is the person for me. No, he wasn't having any spiritual boundaries. He wasn't having any father straighten his path or direct him or correct him. But all his decisions were made by his senses. When he saw the wife, nothing about God, nothing about seeking the face of God, nothing about fasting and prayer, nothing about asking even from the parents. So that is one thing we need to look at. So let's look at the difference between true love and worldly love. True love and worldly love. Now, true love grows with time. Worldly love fades with time. True love is other person centered. Worldly love may be in love with more than one person. True love faces problems frankly. Worldly love tries to hide or ignore problems. True love endures. Worldly love may change suddenly or unpredictably. So you can't tell. It can change at any time. That is worldly love. True love waits for the right time. Worldly love wants everything now. So this is it. So if you see this in your relationship, know that it's either you are in a true love or you are in a worldly love. Period. Now let's look at godly approach of choosing a spouse. Godly approach of choosing a spouse. Let's read Genesis chapter 24 verse 36 to 40. Genesis 24 36 to 40. My master's wife Sarah had borne him a son in her old age, and he has given him everything he owns. And my master made me swear an oath and said, you must not get a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I live. 38. But go to my father's family and my own clan and get a wife for my son. 39. Then I asked my master, what if the woman will not come back with me? Let's in verse 40. Let's pay attention to verse 40. He says, he replied, the Lord before whom I have walked faithfully will send his angels with you and make your journey a success, so that you can get a wife for my son from my own clan and from my father's family. You see, so this is a godly approach. This is a godly approach. Abraham was looking for a wife for his only son, Isaac, and he told Eliezer, the servant, that don't take a wife from these people, Canaanites, but go to. So he's looking at his lineage. In his lineage, let's put it in this context. Let's look at our religion, people with the same faith. See, Samson made that decision on his own, but this time around, Isaac's father made that decision for him. So the question I'm asking you is that, must we allow our parents to make decision for us in terms of marriage, to choose our spouse for us in terms of marriage? You can leave your comments, your suggestion, your question in the comment section. One thing I've learned from this is that if we are a Christian, or if you are a Christian and you want to marry, don't say that you want to marry this person who is not in the same faith with you. He may have money, but ask yourself, can the money sustain the relationship or the marriage? If you are not very careful, see, marriage is a journey. The shortest way to truncate your ministry, or the shortest way to truncate your calling, is to marry wrong. And it is evidence in the Bible. And Samson is a case study. He went to marry a worldly woman, a woman who is not in the same faith with him, and ended up pulling out his eyes, ended up grounding for them, ended up ending his life and truncating his ministry, because Samson was called as a judge for the Israelites, but without godly instruction, his ministry or his calling was truncated. This is something that we need to pay attention to. The fact that you love the person, ask yourself, is she or he in the same belief that you believe? Does he believe in the God of the Bible? Does he believe in Christianity? Is he a Christian? Even if he's a Christian, is he a born again Christian? Because now there are many people in the church who call themselves Christians, but we are not Christians. So have you asked yourself these questions? Samson saw and he went for it. He didn't tell the father that do this decision, choose the partner for me, but he chose it by himself. And by his time around, Abraham made that decision for Isaac. And I pray for anyone under the sound of my voice that may we have the discernment and may we heed to the instructions of God, especially those of us who are yet to marry, those of us who are yet to get our partners. May the Lord himself lead us in getting the right partner for the right cause, so that we will be able to fulfill the will of God concerning our life. Now let's look at the results of the choices. The results of the choices. Now first of all, let's look at following worldly approach. Judges chapter 16, 18 to 21. Verse 18, it says, when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the Lord of the Philistines, saying, come up once more, for he has told me all his heart. So the lords of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hands. Then she lured him to sleep on his knees and called for a man and had him shaved off the 7 locks on his head. Then she began to torment him, and his strength left him. 20. And she said, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. So he woke from his sleep and said, I will go out as before at other times and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had departed from him. because of a wrong decision. Look at the results. Look at what a man went through. A man who God has prepared for his people because of a wrong choice, because of a bad relationship. Look at where he ended. The wife has sold him already, exchanged his husband's calling for money, exchanged his husband's ministry for money, exchanged his husband's assignment for money because of wrong choices, because of a wrong spouse, not heeding to God's instruction. Look at what Samson experienced. Look at what he went through. Let's look at the godly approach, or embracing godly approach. Genesis 24 verse 60. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, our sister, may you become the mother of thousands of 10,000s, and may your descendants possess the gates of those who hate them. The blessing that was released on Rebekah. So if we embrace godly way or godly approach, it brings blessings. Look at the blessing that was poured on Rebekah. Rebekah was very beautiful, and the marriage was arranged, and above all, the marriage was in the will of God. Why? Because it was under the instructions and the leadings of God. I pray that those of us who are yet to get married, may the Lord guide us, may the Lord lead us to be able to make the right choices so that we won't waste time. God bless you for today. God bless you for your time. Have a wonderful day. Sunday school, it's God's business. Sunday school, it's my good business. Sunday school, it's our good business. See you next week. Bye-bye.